Excellent. 600 yards, baby.
Hit.
There you go.
Whenever you're ready, Kevin. Here we go.
But that was on the left side, wasn't it? Oh, this is your last 20?
No,
you're good. Sure,
Yep.
sure.
And I just dialed it.
Is this 168? Huh? Is this 168? No, they're 150.
Yeah, I'm having trouble spotting it.
Well, that was 2 hits after I finally dialed it in. 600 yards. Not too bad.
You can say Dan from the Daily Prep.
Hey, my friends, Late Boy Scout here with Kent Gooch, here to report on day 2 of the Precision Marksman class up here at Sniper Country. Tell us, what did we do today? It was so awesome.
Day 2 is my ulterior motive on day 2 here was to give everybody a little reality check as far as ballistics go. Day 1 was primarily designed to work on everybody's the fundamentals of marksmanship, getting their positions down and all that. Day 2, we started reaching out a little bit further. On day 1, we didn't get out past 400 yards very much, but today was designed to get out to 500, 600 yards, and then kind of let everybody play a little bit at the further distance, maybe up to 700, 800 yards. Had a couple of guys really stretch themselves and took a couple of shots at 1,000. Although the course is primarily designed for 600. But the concept was today, okay, let's go out there and fight the wind. There's not much wind drift, even up to a 10, 15 mile an hour wind. Not that big a deal out to about 300 or 400 yards because you still have plenty of retained velocity. The bullet's still cooking along pretty good. But once you start getting out there 500, 600 yards, the projectile's slowing down a little bit more. The wind's having a little more effect on it. And today, God really blessed us with some really awesome wind changes. We had swirls going on. We started off in the morning. It was coming out at 3 o'clock. And then by the time we got done at the end of the day, it was coming out at 9. We had some 6 o'clock and some headwinds. It was just going all over the place, and it really bumfuddled a few of the shooters. Had me kind of climbing the wall there for a little bit, trying to get control of it. But that's pretty much what today's goal was to get out there and see the realities of the whole ballistics problem. And
that is reality right there. I mean, you can do everything you can to prepare for a really awesome class and get things to be challenging. But once you get out there in the environment, it's up to the environment to challenge you sometimes.
And that's why we have one national champion every year, not like 20. You know, I mean, it's hard, and although it's not beyond attainment, it is something that you have to apply yourself to, and you really need to pay attention to what the conditions are. You have to learn to read the mirage with your optics, and watch it out there and watch what the mesquite and the sagebrush is doing, and
hold a plate. You can hold a plate with
everything that's going on around you. You need to pay attention to and try to predict where the projectile is going to go, and not just react to it after you've already launched one. You know, anybody can go out there, fire a sighter around downrange, see it missed out 2 feet out to the right, correct 2 feet to the left, and hit the target. But the concept is look down there, make a educated assessment of the situation, dial what you need on your sighting system, and then hit it with one shot. That's the goal. You don't spend thousands of dollars to get your shooting equipment together. Just go down and just a sling lead. You know, you can do that for about $600 at the local Mega Mart.
Yeah.
Go down there, put your rifle together, and have fun. I mean, nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. But when you're spending this much money, like these students are doing, you know, they want to know how to make that thing work. And a lot of that's ballistics. They have to understand that.
So what are some of the successes and some of the challenges that students were facing today?
We've had, of the 6 or so primary students, we have people like yourself that are doing some media stuff. Yeah. But the guys that were the primary students there, what I really saw today in the last couple of days is that they had a little bit of shooting experience, but not a lot. Okay. They knew which end of the rifle the bullet's going to come out of, you know, and they knew how to look through the scope and all that good stuff. But what I saw today was guys that were hitting targets regularly, easily at 600 yards. I mean, that was as far as we really intended to go with this course. Yeah. But they were reaching out there, hitting steel at 800 meters. We had one guy shooting, thinking he was shooting at 800, and he was actually shooting at 1,000 and hitting that.
That blows me away.
And he's looking at his data going, that's a lot more come up than what I needed for for 800, that's more like 1,000. Then he just started doing the math and talked to one of the instructors, and I was like, no, you're shooting at 1,000 yards there, Bubba, because in this course we don't teach range estimation. This isn't a part of this course. We give them the distance to the target. It's a known distance course, and but he just picked a target and started shooting at it, thinking it was like 800 yards, and he was hitting it. It took him a couple of shots to get on it, but it's a real confidence booster. And you think, well, wow, I was hitting the 800-yard target. No, you were hitting the 1,000-yard target. Sweet.
That is pretty nice. I mean, the range is kind of like that, Once you dial in on a target, if you bump it at all and kind of lose it, you pretty much it's the next target you find. You think that's it.
Yeah. The one of the many things I like about sniper country is that although you're out there shooting on a quote unquote known distance range, the targets are out there, and we've got terrain cleared around them, of course, because of some fire issues going on out here in Utah right now.
Yeah.
But although we've cleared the brush and everything away from them, we still don't have neon flashing lights that here's the target. They're still having to locate them. They're having to learn how to using the different methods that we teach in the military, how to locate and describe and locate targets. So there's some field skills that are starting to come into play here. Heck, tomorrow we might even let a couple of them mess around with the mill relation formula and do some range estimation. We'll see how they're doing.
Cool.
But the biggest revelation I'm seeing with the students are the guys that never really thought that they could do this, and also now they're grouping good groups out at 600 and 700 yards, and that's rewarding to see for a coach. Dealing with people that you like seeing them had success. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this kind of work.
Yeah, the little bit of success that I had yesterday, and bringing it back down to the 100-yard and getting a nice little group on that, is I can't hardly attribute any of that to myself, more than just realizing that I needed to get out of the way of the machine, out of the rifle, and let it do its job.
That's one of the things that occurred to me over the years, especially when you're dealing with a lot of military types, a lot of type A personalities. It's all fixed bayonets and charge the hill. And when you get into the sniper or the precision shooting side of the game, so to speak, you do start realizing that this is a machine, a precision machine that I'm dealing with here. There's science behind it. There's physics behind it. And really all I need to do is aim this thing properly, put the correct elevation and windage on it, and then cause that thing to fire without disturbing the sights, and you're going to hit. Now, there's a lot of fundamentals that go along with that.
Sure.
You have to do it correctly. You just don't sling it over your shoulder and launch the round.
Sure.
But once you get those fundamentals down, it's basically getting yourself out of the way and letting that thing launch the bullet. Because all you're doing is really pressing the trigger. It's doing the rest of it.
And it's interesting how much the first day training was kind of teaching us how to get out of the gun's way.
Yeah.
Proper body line, the shoulder. We talked all about that, and the trigger control, and all those things. It's really all about kind of getting out of the rifle's way and letting it do its job.
Yeah, it's like operating any other kind of machinery. You've got you got rules. It's designed in a certain way. It's like, for example, trigger control. Okay, when a design engineer designs the sears and all that stuff that operate within that trigger housing, they design it in order with that thing being pressed straight to the rear. That's the intention, that when that trigger moves to the rear, the sears disconnect, and everything, and it launches the firing pin. Okay. Well, if you're pulling that thing off to the side, that's not how it was designed. The rifle was designed in order to recoil in a certain manner. If you're putting torque on it that's causing it to recoil in a manner it wasn't designed for, you're not going to have maximum accuracy. So basically, you just look at that thing and realize that it's launching the bullet. Your job is to provide it a stable platform to fire from, and again, cause it to fire without disturbing it.
So, of the challenges that some of the students faced today, what do you think stood out? As far as things that people were still sort of not quite getting.
Dealing with the wind.
Okay.
I think a lot of guys, a lot of shooters tend to get a little bit frustrated. That's why we took a couple of breaks there after when the wind really started picking up. We were dealing with, although it doesn't sound like a lot, we were dealing with some 8 to 10 to maybe 12 mile an hour gusts right around, I guess probably around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It really started gusting pretty bad. And that, I think that dealt some people some some cards that they weren't prepared to deal with. There's some days you go out to the range and you got a nice cold front blowing in, and you got a 8-mile-an-hour steady wind that just blows 8 miles an hour all stinking day. It never lets off. It's just that nice cool Canadian air coming down, and you just get an 8-mile-an-hour wind, and it stays all day, and you're shooting with 8 miles an hour. Okay, there 4 minutes. Okay, go back to the 5. Put 5 minutes on. Go back to the 6. Put 6.5, and you're just clicking and you're just nailing it. And you get really heady about, I'm a wind god. You know, and then you come out here to a range like this, where it looks like your wind looks like a frog in a blender out there. It's just doing this number, and you're going, really? You know, I got to shoot in this, and you do. You go out and you shoot in it. In a 3-day course, you're going to have that. Yeah. You know, we're not wimps. We're not shooting at 200, 300 yards. We're dealing with some pretty good distances that, even though they may not want to admit it, that military snipers would have had a hard time dealing with today. I know, because I are one, and I trained them, and I know that the situations that our guys were dealing with today would have challenged a lot of people. So primarily that wind, because it was just changing so quick. It was so dry out there, the humidity so low that you're really not getting a real thick mirage to pick up on. You had to really work the scope in order to find the mirage. Plus, the terrain that we're shooting on has a big valley in the middle of it, so it's not like you're shooting across a flat golf course type range where the convection waves are coming off the ground a few feet below your line of sight. We're talking about the ground being 50 to 60 feet below your line of sight. Right. It's hard to get mirage like that because the ground, which is heating up, is so far below your line of sight. Yeah. So I know the wind was quite challenging today to a couple of them. Yeah. We had some students that were shooting 338 Lapuz. Wasn't quite such an issue for them because you got a 250 grain bullet screaming down range that is like breaking the wind and just going, get out of my way. The 175 grain 308s that the guys were shooting were buffeted a little bit more by the wind. So the 338s didn't have as much of an issue, but the 308s were starting to wrestle with it about the 500-yard line. They were having some issues, especially when we were shooting at the 12-inch plates. Yeah. Yeah. The big IDPA size metal silhouettes, no biggie, but you can hit that with a slingshot at 500 yards basically. So you have to go for the challenge, which is a 12-inch plate. Yeah. And that 12-inch plate at 500 yards, you're probably holding about a 5-inch group with the rifle, and then you throw in a little bit of wind that kind of drags it out a little bit. It doesn't take much to miss at that distance on a 12-inch plate. It's a pretty good challenge. So I think that was the big challenge for the day, was dealing with the wind. Sure.
Well, we faced some challenges, but we also had some great successes, and I expect to have a lot more fun with challenges and successes tomorrow on the third and last day of this course. And I just thank you again for being here to do this report with us. Look forward to a report of the third day. And
it's a good band, Third Day. You ever hear them?
Anyway. And we'll see y'all then.